My name is Dawlton Nelson, and this is my exhibit, Impact. And basically what I'm just talking about is major environmental, political, and world issues that people are kind of ignorant to. And so we're looking at the impact of how do people impact the world, primary and secondary. So a lot of my themes and stuff come from my background as an environmentalist. So we're talking about like habitat fragmentation, species decline, deforestation, amongst other things. One of the pieces I'm going to talk about here a little later is talking about the removal of Native people in the United States still, and how that impacts their life. So the whole idea of impact stems off this idea of how do we go about our daily lives? What do we do to impact the world? So whether it's buying single-use plastics or long-term buying cabinets for our houses that are from the forest. Impact can be multi-dimensional, can be just walking in the sand with your feet. A lot of my materials are natural, and so I like to create my pieces barefoot because it's that relation to the earth and that relation and that impact that your feet have into the sand. And so it's an impact in a different way. So when I'm talking about these pieces environmentally, and then I'm talking about them as a person and the impact that relation has. So a lot of my pieces, they have, outward meanings, but they also have a lot deeper context underneath. So some of the pieces they kind of spell it out to you of what's happening. And then also pieces like this, I called this Iatoi's Maze Through the Modern Era. So I had this wonderful experience of staying overnight at a Native American reservation in southeast Arizona. The Tohono O'odham have been on this land that spans across the US-Mexico border for thousands of years. I really wanted to do this piece to kind of have an outward cry for those people and kind of the injustice that is being done there. The border wall was a big issue last presidential election, and that was something that was impactful to not only the people there, but also the environment. And so this piece is really talking about their maze through life, and so this is kind of their coming to story. Their god is a human-like figure, Iatoi, and he's going through this journey through life, and this whole maze apparatus is about someone's journey through life. And so it kind of relates back to the common theme of impact. So what is our impact through life? Is it a good impact? Is it a bad impact? Is it having positive or negative outcomes? And essentially it gets to the centralization of one's own happiness, one's peace, one's understanding of life. I could have many ideas. But this piece is talking about the border wall that is going through their land, and it's also going through, their heritage. And it's talking about the outward environmental and then also inward impact against the native people there. Over the past 4 years at WNJ, I've definitely traveled a lot, and I've taken advantage of those opportunities. A lot of my work kind of, it does focus on natural materials in the natural world, and I like to make a lot of it outside. I like to leave my work behind, kind of like Andy Goldsworthy, which is one of my inspirations. Some of the pieces don't exist anymore, and that's just because the material they're made out of, they wither and they deteriorate and they go away. And, that was kind of, me making that sculpture is putting the impact of that sculpture in that place, and then it's just disappearing, and I have no control over how or when. And I think that's something that's really kind of fun and unique about my work. Some of my other pieces, they're created in the gallery, and so they might be a piece I've made before, or they're a piece that I made just for this exhibit. And but I still try to stick to my foundation of natural materials, because I like the natural world a lot. And I think that we are at a crucial point in time. The next 50, 100 years, we don't know what our planet's going to look like. We don't know what life's going to look like. We don't know what's going to exist. And I think a lot of my work, being present and then also being a photograph is kind of educating people towards those ideas. I really want people to, reflect on themselves and realize how they're impacting the world, how we're impacting the world. What is the long haul? What are we trying to do? Some of my pieces, like this one on the wall, it's natural materials in the sense of they're creatures, and I'm using, the scientific way of entomology and pinning insects for education in the sense of creating the word help. And that's just, that's one of the pieces that it's right there, it's punching, it's right in your face. And insects don't have a voice, and animals don't have a voice. And by giving them a voice through an exhibit like that, it's educating people to something that they're ignorant to, which is the loss of biodiversity and the decline of species as a whole. We don't necessarily care about things that we're not in tune to. We don't care about things that we're not educated about and that we don't know about. And so I think a lot of my work, stems from traveling and interacting with people and kind of giving that outward vibe and putting that outward idea of, the negative impact. But there's also a positive impact, and I think that's kind of what I want my work to focus towards. A lot of the concepts are negative, but they can have positive endings.